Hello and welcome again to my kitchen. Today we're going to make solar sourdough biscuits. I know the recipe is already up online, so thought I'd put a video together so that everyone can see how easy this thing is to do. Okay, first of all we're going to start with our dry ingredients. This here is 1 cup of whole wheat flour that I ground myself here at home, and 1 cup of unbleached all-purpose flour. We're going to add that into our bowl. Okay, we have a teaspoon and a half of salt. Seemed to have the cat inside the cupboard. Let's figure out what was going on there. Okay, then we have 3 tablespoons of raw sugar. And finally, 1/4 cup of cooking oil. But before I add that, I'm going to stir in the dry ingredients together. Our cat Momiji thinks she's starving to death. She's over there getting into the cat food. Still another hour before her eating time. Okay, we have that stirred and mixed. Okay, we're going to add the oil. Okay, as we cut the oil in, we don't want to get too carried away with it. We want to actually leave it in like about pea-sized clumps into the flour. Sugar and salt mixture. I find the easiest way to do that is just take a fork and just cut it in. Okay, we're getting pretty close there. I should mention that you can add 1 tablespoon of baking powder to this recipe if you want to shorten your proofing times. And the way that works is if you just go with the straight sourdough, you're going to need to let this recipe proof for 1 hour. But if you add that tablespoon of baking powder, you can get away with a ½ hour proofing time. So okay, we have that all cut in and it's nice and lumpy. And about pea-sized lumps from the oil that was added in. Okay, now in here I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour starter and I have 1 cup of whole wheat starter. We're ready to add the sourdough starter. The starter also provides all the moisture for this recipe. We don't have to add any more water to it. This starter was fed last night, so it's nice and active yet. I've already used it to make a loaf of sourdough bread this morning. It's out, in fact, it's out baking in the oven as I speak. We're going to have a little get-together tomorrow, and I wanted to take a fresh loaf of sourdough bread along. Okay, now all we have to do is just mix this all together. The interesting thing about sourdough is that it has some yeast in it because there's natural yeast in the flour all the time, but the thing that really is different from sourdough than standard yeast rising breads is that it's actually a lactobacillus culture that lives in the starter, which is actually good for you. It's a digestive probiotic. People who have problems with yeast can get away with sourdough where they can't get it when they can't eat the yeast type breads. Okay, looks like we got this mixed pretty well. The other thing about it is that the culture, the lactobacillus, eats the sugars out of the bread, so that sourdough bread doesn't have the high carbohydrate rate that standard breads have. So it's not near as bad for you. In fact, diabetics can get away with eating, some diabetics can get away with eating sourdough bread when they can't get away with eating regular bread. Alrighty. Okay, now I have my pan here that I'm using in the oven. So we want to oil it up. Put some of this stuff out of the way. Flour my hands. What we're going to do here is we're going to pinch off pieces of this dough about the size of a golf ball. Okay, that's just about right there. And I start sticking them inside the pan. Okay, when you get done rolling all your dough up together and set in the pan, it should look something like this. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take and cover this with a lid, and we're going to go set it in a warm spot and let it proof for 1 hour. Well, our hour has gone by and our biscuits have proofed, so it's time to take them out and put them in the oven. And there they are. Our biscuits are now in the oven. The oven is nearly 400 degrees. It was about 410 when I stuck them in there. And the temperature outside is about 66 degrees at the moment. Alrighty. It appears that our biscuits should be done. Give them a toothpick test. Oh yeah, they're done. There.
These biscuits are great with beans, stews, and soup recipes. I hope you enjoy them.